Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Just a quick video to basically celebrate our 4-year anniversary. Basically, I've been making DC Universe Online videos for roughly 4 years. I can't believe how fast time flies by. It seems like I started doing these videos yesterday. A little bit of history for those of you who may be wondering. Why did I start making DC Universe Online videos? Basically, it was because of Spittle. Some of you guys may remember there used to be a Spittle, aka Jens Anderson, who was the creative director of DC Universe Online at the time, who had mentioned that there was a lot of new players. At the time, I think they were working on adding DC Universe Online to Xbox, and I think they discovered, or maybe they knew already, that a lot of new players would play the Brainiac mission at the start of the game and give up halfway through the mission for various reasons. So I thought, why not make a video showing how to get through that mission? Because I know that one of the issues that the mission had was that there was those three little robots that you had to defeat, and you had to defeat those three little robots using the counter mechanics. So you had to block break, and you had to interrupt them. And if you did not do that, those robots were invincible. And I know a few people who tried to play this universe online. They reached those three little robots, had no clue how to counter them, and just gave up on this universe online right there and then, thinking that the game was bugged. That's a feature that's a pattern that I've seen with a lot of people who tried this universe online and gave up because they thought the game was bugged. And once in a while, they would actually mention an actual bug, and I would have to agree with them. But very often, they would mention bugs, and they would mention things that were not bug. It's just that they didn't understand the mechanics. They didn't understand how to play the game, basically. So these two things, Jens Sanderson mentioning how people were quitting pretty much halfway through the mission, and the people that I knew personally who also gave up on the DC Universe Online because of some imaginary bugs that they thought they had. These are the pretty much the things that made me start making videos about DC Universe Online to try to help out new players, but also in a roundabout way also to help out old players. Like when you're an old player and you end up stuck with a whole bunch of new players who don't understand the mechanics, who don't understand the game, it can be frustrating for some older players. So in a roundabout way, it was a videos pretty much for everyone, but it's mostly to try to get new players to know how the game works a bit better, so that when they end up with old players, with veteran players, that they don't clash as much as they do sometimes. Sadly, we often see the threads. Again, this week there was a new thread about people complaining that there was high-level players in their mission, and that the high-level players were defeating all the enemies before they could do anything. Sadly, there's this big this cleavage in the fan base between the new players and the older guys, um, and sadly, a lot of the older guys sadly want to do a bit of a gatekeeping because they don't like playing with new players. But hopefully, some new players will see my videos, will understand the game a bit better, and it will be a bit less frustrating for those older guys. Although at the end of the day, there are guys that are never happy, so it doesn't matter what you do to try to please them. They're never happy with what you do anyway. I've been there myself. There was a time very closely. It was during the summer we got Origin Crisis. I almost gave up on this universe online during that summer. There's two things that happened. The first thing is that with Origin Crisis, people would gatekeep the missions. It was that simple. If you did not have the top mods at the time, or even the top gear, they would exclude you from playing missions. So sadly, even though like there's some missions like I think it's Paradox Wave, I had played Paradox Wave, I knew the mechanics. The only issue I had with Paradox Wave is that there's some visual effects that I did not see because of the PlayStation 3. Sadly, that was another thing that was a bit frustrating playing Paradox Waves. I remember the first time people said, "Watch out for the big energy ball," and I remember saying something like, "Which energy ball?" And obviously, I didn't see the visual effect of the energy ball. But after that, when people would call it out, then I understood what they meant, and I would move out of the way. And it's only a few months later when I bought a new PC, because I played both this Universe Online both on PC and PlayStation 3. But my PC was an old PC who could barely run the game, and eventually I upgraded my PC. And I remember the first time I played Paradox Wave with my new PC. Holy crap! I could actually see there's a whole bunch of stuff that I could see that I never saw with my PS3. But sadly, it was a bit frustrating. The Summer of Origin Crisis. People, if when people saw that I didn't have the top mods, they would kick me out even before the mission would start. When they saw that I didn't have the top gear, even though I had a couple of pieces of gear, I think I had the shoulders and the boots or something like that, showing that I had been in the mission, had succeeded playing the mission, but it still wasn't enough. People would look at my gear, they would look at my combat rating, they would look at my mods, and they would decide, nah, we're not playing the mission with this guy. Even though I was a pretty darn good controller, but so that was very frustrating for that one summer. And you may ask, why didn't you form your own group? That would happen too. You would try to form a group, people would inspect your character and say, nah, I'm not going with that group. So that was the first thing that was very frustrating about this Universe Online and Origin Crisis. The other thing is that we had the first PvP season. They had revamped PvP, and they gave us what was at the time the first PvP season. And the first day it was awesome. Everyone had the same gear. So I played my missions. I won like I think you could play like 5 matches per day or something like that. Anyway, basically I played all the matches I could play. I won my marks. I won my matches. So I foolishly thought, okay, tomorrow I'll play again. What I didn't realize is that there were players who basically they spammed replay badges, and they got the at the time the top PvP gear was the Vengeance gear. So by the end of the day, not even the next day, like by the end of the day, I tried to show some of my friends, hey, come play PvP. It's quite different. Everyone has the same gear. It won't be as frustrating as it was for them because my friends didn't like PvP at all uh, because of a whole bunch of reasons. But one of the reasons was that they hated they had basically very basic PvP gear, and going against guys in full PvP gear, they hated that. But I was able to convince them that one day, like, hey, let's try PvP. Everyone has the same gear, but already by the end of the day, not even by the end of the day, after supper, already a whole bunch of people had full Vengeance gear, and it made PvP a nightmare. And also at the time, someone had the bright idea to make it so that if you had to win your matches in order to be able to get your marks. So if you didn't win, you got no marks, and you had to try again and again and again. And those first few weeks, it was very frustrating. I was playing a controller, and I kept on facing Rage Tank. Rage was the fairly newest power at the time, and almost every matches I was facing some sort of tank, and nine times out of 10. Out of 10 it was a rage tank, so it was let's say difficult would be the word I would use. So I would spend all my time facing against a tank in full Vengeance gear, and I was a poor little controller who was foolish enough that basically what people did is that first day they spammed replay badges to replay and replay and replay until they had full Vengeance gear within a few hours. There was also sadly a sad trick that some people played. They traded wins and losses. Basically, they would time it so that they would cure at the same time, and so the game would match them against each other. And what they would do is that one guy would win one match, the other guy would win the other match, and they would trade wins like that throughout the whole day until they got the full Vengeance gear. So that was another thing that was a bit frustrating. So the combination of not being able to play Origin Crisis and PvP that was freaking difficult if you had the starter gear. It was the cash gear at the time that people were calling it. So if you had the cash gear versus Vengeance gear, and even worse, if you were a controller always facing tanks, it was a very frustrating time to be playing PvP. But I was able to grind through that, and then eventually, once I got the full set of gear, the full set of Vengeance gear, it was a whole new ball game. But reaching that point, I had to struggle a lot to reach that point, and once I did, I didn't want to play PvP anymore after that. So I would only play PvP once in a long while. And to this day, I did not even finish the Deadshot set of gear because I, I, I pretty much don't want to play PvP anymore. I play it once in a while when I have to, but mostly you guys I've seen, I mostly play PvE nowadays. And I was wondering what could I do for this 4-year anniversary video? I didn't really have an idea of what to do, or I wanted to make something I don't usually do. And someone asked a pretty interesting questions on the forums. Very often people will ask me how to make YouTube videos, but here this guy is asking if there's any stuff I can tell him to be a YouTuber. And so I thought, why not make a video? Why not make a video where I explain how to be a YouTuber? Obviously, this will be from my perspective, so it's going to be probably different than any other two YouTubers out there. I'm pretty sure that each YouTuber has his own experience, but there are things that seems to be common with every YouTubers, so I'll talk about that a bit. So basically, how to be a YouTuber, or what can I tell people about being a YouTuber? The first thing is that it takes perseverance. It took me quite a while to. Right now, I have about 6,700 subscribers or something like that, and it was a long road to reach here. As you saw it, as you can see, it took me 4 years to get over 600, 6,500 subscribers. Uh, f- I had followed a lot of YouTubers in the past. There's quite a few YouTubers that I would follow, and one thing that a lot of them would mention is how it basically took them 5 years to build their channel. Basically, took them 5 years of posting regularly and regularly and regularly until eventually, after 5 years of hard work, they finally managed to build an audience that allowed them to be YouTubers full time. Obviously, I haven't reached that point. I make YouTube videos. Unlike a lot of people on YouTube, making YouTube videos is not my job. That's not how I pay the rent or how I buy food on the table. It's only something I do for the fun of it. And I have to admit, I have a lot of fun. By now I've made about 1,800 videos, and I really have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun playing this universe online, but I have a lot of fun also making those videos for you guys. It can be a bit frustrating sometimes. Obviously, sometimes some of the comments are a bit frustrating, but I'll talk about that the comments more specifically in a bit. But basically, you need perseverance. Just to give you an idea, let me check for just a minute. Basically, whenever there's a milestone, I'll make a video about it, so that way I can keep track of. I can already see. I can see when I got 100 subscribers. I can see when I got 500 subscribers. I can see when I got 1,000 subscribers. So if I look at my past videos, you can see that it took me. After 1 year, I had 400 subscribers. It took me 1 year to gather this many subscribers. So those first 400 subscribers took a lot of work to gather, and I only reached 1,000 subscribers after 2 years of making those videos. And as some of you guys may have noticed, I can produce a lot of videos, and that is pretty much how you build your audience. If you produce just one video every 6 months, your audience will not grow. It's that simple. I saw this channel the other day. The guy had been making videos for 2 years, but he makes like 3 videos per year and has like 16 subscribers. Basically, whenever you make a new video and whenever you add a new video, it creates a momentum that makes you earn a whole bunch of subscribers. So whenever you post new videos and new videos and new videos, not only do you get more views, but also it attracts the interest of more people, and it does help increase your subscriber base. So if you post only one video once in a while, your subscriber base will not grow very fast. If you post videos regularly, and even better, 2 maybe 3 times a day, that will really increase the rate at which you're going to earn subscribers. But again, it took me 2 years to reach 1,000 subscribers, and now after 4 years, I'm roughly at 6,766 subscribers. One of the good things is that it seems to snowball. The more subscribers I get, and the faster I gain subscribers. I remember a time when I would gain 5 subscribers a month. It's sad, but that's how it was. Right now, I earn roughly 500 subscribers a month, 500 new subscribers a month. At this rate, with a bit of luck, let's knock on wood. Uh, if all goes well, by early next year, I should have 10,000 subscribers, but that's assuming that the rate of growth, at the very least, stay the same or grows a bit more. But you never know. It could happen. But sometimes there's periods where you earn more subscribers for a while, and then you get into a dead period. Like during the summer, there was a period where I guess people were gone on vacation or something like that. There was a bit of less growth. But to the opposite of that, during the fall, just before Christmas, usually there's a spike of growth during that time. But then right after Christmas, basically for mid-January, well, January and maybe early February, there is the growth goes down quite a bit. So sadly, it's not a linear progression or even an exponential progression. It's more like a seesaw progression. You earn a lot of subscribers for a bit, then it goes down a bit, then it goes back up a bit, then it goes down a bit. So that's pretty much how it seems to go. Obviously, this is from my point of view. This is my experience. So sadly, you have to persevere. You have to keep on posting videos, and you post videos, and you post videos, and that's how you grow your audience. Again, I've read about or I've seen videos about people who are talking about their own experience making YouTube videos, and one thing that often comes back is 5 years seems to be the magic number to be able to build your audience and to build yourself a respectable audience. Of course, there are although I've seen channels, like I've seen a couple of channels lately who they had been making videos for like 10 years, and for a long time, their channel wouldn't get any traction for some reason. And then at some point in the past like year, suddenly things are starting happening. So one thing that I've seen with people, one preconceived notion that people have about YouTube is that you make one YouTube video, and if it's quality video, it will go viral, you'll get 1 million subscribers, and you'll make millions of dollars with your YouTube channel. I'm sorry to have to break it to you, it doesn't work like that. Normally, a lot of people who have a YouTube channel worked on their channel for years before they could do that full time. And again, the magic number seems to be 5 years. There's people who are able to do that faster, and there's people who took much longer than that before they finally became successful, or at least as successful as they wanted to be. In some cases, they would change their formula, and then eventually they hit a formula that worked and that got them a ton of traction and a ton of subscribers. A lot of people who make currently one thing that seems to be popular is people who make videos about Star Wars, and it's not it's quite obvious. Star Wars is a very popular brand, or at least it used to be. But right now, the popular thing with Star Wars seems to be to make negative videos about Star Wars, which I understand. Personally, I'm not happy about the direction that Star Wars took. I really don't like the Star Wars movies that Disney made, so I can easily understand why people would make negative videos. And sadly, negative videos on YouTube seems to have more traction than positive one. But I try to stay away from that. When I started making YouTube videos, there's one thing I told myself is that there's enough negative content out there, especially on YouTube, but online also generally speaking, there's enough negative content out there that I decided I did not want to do that. Which is why you'll rarely see me make a video bashing something or someone. You'll rarely see me making a negative video because I really want to stay away from that. Once in a while it will happen. Like the best example I can think of is the Justice League video. I didn't want. You'll notice that very often I won't make videos about certain things that I don't like because I don't want to be complaining about those for like 50 minutes. But at some point, some of you guys were asking what I thought of the Justice League video. And another thing that I don't want to do is that I don't want to lie. So I didn't want to make a fake video where I said that the Justice League movie was the best movie in the world. And so I made a Justice League video about the Justice League movie. I was honest about it. And I was a bit surprised. I thought that because there's a big cleavage in the fan base. I was going to say right now, but there's been a big cleavage in the fan base for at least a good 10 years. Maybe even longer than that, but I just wasn't aware of it. But you really have the camp where you have the people who are for DC and you have the people who are for Marvel. And and I thought that the let's say the DC fans would be outraged at my Justice League video, but I hoped that they saw that I was honest in my comments, and I made a fair assessment of the movie. And luckily enough, I wasn't bashed too much about that video. So another thing, so that's pretty much it for perseverance. Another thing, you'll need a lot of patience. You'll need a lot of patience because sometimes you'll run into technical issues. You'll run into issues when you try to make your video or when you try to upload your video. Sometimes when you spend an hour, half a day editing your video, and then somehow your editing software freezes or does something you don't like, and then you end up losing all that work. Well, there's no miracle. You roll your sleeves and you try again and you restart your video. A good example of that is the video I made about the Green Mystic Aura. I had made my video. I thought it was a pretty good video, only to realize that the audio didn't work. So I was like, ah man. So I had to remake that video. And the sad thing is that when I remade that video, I had made a bit where I was showing alternatives to the Green Mystic Aura. Basically, if people didn't, the Green Mystic Aura is pretty similar to a couple of other auras we had in the past. So I had showed those auras like something like if you don't like the Green Mystic Aura, there's the Blue Mystic Aura if you prefer a blue aura, or there's the Diamond Mist Aura, which is basically the Green Mystic Aura but white. But when I remade my video, I completely forgot to include that part. But I added it to another video, so it kind of worked out in the end. But so you'll need patience for things like that. When things go wrong, when you lose half a day's work because of some glitch or some weird issue, sadly it happens. Uh, Also, with the comments, I'm sure you guys noticed it by now. I probably should mention it because it'll probably escalate after that. There's one thing that is true about the internet is that if you tell people not to do something, they will do it. So, but well, what the heck? Basically, one of the things that I'm sure you guys noticed in the comments is people asking for stuff. It's something that happens over and over and over. And there's nothing really that can be done about that. I was tempted at some point to whenever to delete those comments. But then I thought, nah, maybe they'll get lucky and someone else will give them what they're asking for, which happens sometimes. Sometimes someone will ask for something, and someone else will say, "Oh yeah, I have that. I can trade it to you." So usually I leave those comments there for that. Although once in a while YouTube removes comment. I'm not sure why exactly. Sometimes I'll get a notification that I got a comment from someone, and then when I look into the comment section, I, I can't see the comment. So I'm not sure why that happens. But sometimes again, there's comments that I'll see a notification that someone posted a comment, and I just can't find the comment in the comment section. Did someone delete the comment? Did someone like YouTube delete the comment? Did uh, did the person decide to delete the comment because they realized that it was a poor comment or a bad comment? I have no idea. Although sometimes it'll be negative comments. I'll see a notification about someone saying something not very nice, but then when I look, I don't see his comment. But sometimes it even comes with people who actually give a good comment, and then you look and whoops, the comment is gone. So again, what happened? I have no idea. So there's a lot of comments. Very often, if you leave a comment and somehow I don't comment on it, if you're asking for stuff, I don't reply to those comments. But if I don't comment, if I don't reply to your comment, odds are just I didn't see it or somehow I just can't see it. It happens. I don't usually bar people. I don't usually block people, but I think once in a while YouTube does that. Again, I'm not sure. I I don't really have any filter set to filter comments or filter users. So when YouTube decide to remove or yeah, to remove some comments, I'm not sure exactly why. So pretty much every day there are people asking for free stuff. So you just have to be patient and just ignore those comments when it happens. Although you'd think that someone asking for free stuff would be reasonable. I could almost understand someone saying, "Hey, I need $100 or $1,000 to be able to buy colas or something." Uh, it's a small amount. I could almost understand someone asking for that. But very often you see guys see the comments. Very often you'll see someone asking for not much, just a void material. Give me a void material, a material that costs hundreds of dollars to get, or that cost thousands of quarks to purchase on the booster vendor. Somehow, and whenever you see those comments, you have to ask yourself, do these people really think that that's a reasonable request? But obviously they think so because they did make the request. So it must seem reasonable to them somehow to ask for something that's worth hundreds of dollars or that's worth thousands of quarks. So it's hard to explain, but and it happens pretty much every day. You guys again see the comments. Every day there are people asking for stuff. When they ask for something that's worth 1 million, okay, maybe again I can almost understand that. But when they ask for something that's worth like 900 millions on the broker, or that you have to open 500 time capsules, meaning that you'll have to spend $500 to get it, or that you'll need 5,000 quarks to purchase it from Booster Gold, which again means opening a whole bunch of time capsules. Again, you have to wonder who thinks that it's a reasonable request. But it's something that we see all the time. We see it also in game. If we go to the Watchtower, there's a whole bunch of people just asking in chat for things like that, for auras, for materials, for. So it can be a bit hard on your patience. So again, the second thing I would say you really need to be a YouTuber is to be patient. You have to be patient with people, and also with new people. Sometimes you have to understand that sometimes these are new players. They don't understand exactly how the game works. So you really have to be patient with them. And you have to try to remember. Like I remember when I first started playing DC Universe Online, lots of stuff I didn't know. So I can understand when people ask, and also sometimes I'll mention it in my videos. Like sometimes I'll mention in my videos something that seems self-evident or that seems obvious to a lot of people, but for new players, it's not that obvious. I see a lot of older players who kind of forget that once upon a time they were the new guys on the block, and once upon a time they didn't have all the answers either. So very often we'll see new players who will start playing DC Universe Online and who will not know something that seems self-evident for someone who's been playing for a long time, but for new players, it's a mystery. So that requires, I guess, a bit of patience as well. But I find it easier to deal with someone who's new and who doesn't know how the game works than to deal with someone who's just asking for free stuff. The other thing you need to be a YouTuber is a good microphone. I'm sure you guys saw for the past few months, sadly, I had a crappy microphone. Um, so I had purchased a PlayStation microphone, and I'm not sure if it's because you plug it into you can plug it into your controller, and so maybe that's why. It seems to be whenever I plug anything in my controller, the audio is crap. The sound I hear in the headphone is crap, and obviously the sound from the microphone was crap as well. So it might be the fact that maybe the fact that the controller is the intermediary between the headset and the PlayStation. Maybe that's why the audio was here crappy. You may have noticed for quite a few videos now, I got a new headset. It wasn't perfect. Took me a few videos to figure out how to set up the microphone. I think I've got it figured out. Although there's still glitches that happens. Like sometimes I'll record the video, I'll edit the video, and then I'll listen to the video before I upload it to YouTube. And very often when I listen to it in SHAREfactory, that's what I'm using right now to make videos. So when I edit the video using SHAREfactory, sometimes the audio seems fine. So I upload it to YouTube, and um, I don't know enough the technical aspect to know for sure, but basically when I uploaded to you the very same video that sounded fine on SHAREfactory, when I upload it on YouTube, uh, the audio is completely different. Sometimes the voice is too low. So I had to make some tweaks, not based on what I hear in SHAREfactory, but based on what I hear once I listen to the video on YouTube. So that's why it took me a few videos. Like there's one video where the music was way too loud, but when I listened to it in SHAREfactory, the music was fine. So I guess somehow the music was louder. So I had to make the music less loud on SHAREfactory, knowing that it will be louder on YouTube. So I had to adjust like that because of things like that. I also, you've noticed I've started adding audio, I've started adding music on top of the videos. I had someone who suggested that, and I thought it was a good idea. I the only issue is that sometimes For the, I think it was the Dark Knight Time Capsule where the music was way too loud. So the part I was worried about is that it would drown. Like I don't have that strong of a voice, and especially if I make multiple videos or if I make a long video that I've been talking for a long time, sometimes my voice will lower a bit, will not be quite as loud or as strong. So I was worried that maybe the music would drown my voice, and it did happen in a few videos. But I'll try. I'm trying to be more mindful of that. So hopefully the audio will keep on getting better. But the audio has to be very important. You have to get a good microphone, hopefully. Otherwise, it makes videos painful to listen to. Sometimes I'll listen to other YouTubers that have a crappy audio, and even if what they're saying is interesting, even if what they're saying is even if they make a good video, if the audio is crap, it kind of ruins the video quite a bit. So I would strongly suggest don't hesitate to invest in a microphone. And obviously, a couple of weeks ago, if I had said that, I would have had to tell you, don't do what I do what I say. But in the meantime, I got a new microphone, which seems to be working much better than my old one. And it works much better on not just for the audio, not just with the microphone, but the headset also is awesome. I hear noises and sounds in this universe online that I hadn't heard for years. I was way overdue to get a new headset. Just to me, it took me a while to get around to getting one. So again, the audio very important. So try to nail it on that front. If the visual is not that strong, it's okay because also another thing is that a lot of people don't really watch videos. They'll listen to them more than anything else. So if you have people who just listen to videos while they're working or something like that, doesn't matter if the picture is off, but if the audio is off, they won't listen to your stuff unless there's something really that they want to know. They won't listen to your video. I guess I could talk about thumbnails a bit. I did a bit of research at some point when it became clear that I would keep on making videos about this universe online. I looked at a whole bunch of videos saying how to make YouTube videos or how to improve your YouTube videos. One thing that a lot of them mention is your thumbnail. Uh, and I'm not sure if I agree with what they're saying. Basically, yes, a good thumbnail will help, but in my case, it doesn't seem to matter all that much. Uh, whether I create a Sometimes I'll create the thumbnails using Photoshop, and sometimes I'll just create a quick thumbnail using SHAREfactory, depending on the type of video I'm making, or depending on the video itself. And I I don't think that the thumbnails don't seem to make a difference all that much. I've had videos with what I thought was a crappy thumbnail who did well. I have videos that have what I thought was a really good thumbnails that people barely watched. So in my case, thumbnails don't seem to matter. I guess most of you guys don't care about the thumbnails I use. You care about the content of the video. So I guess I'm probably the exception compared to other YouTubers. Uh, for other YouTubers, thumbnails is the most important thing in the world. In my case, doesn't really matter what kind of thumbnails I make. It doesn't seem to have a big impact. Another thing that I see a lot of people talk about is how long should your video be? The only answer really I can give to that is how long, as long as it needs to be. If you have a video that requires you to make a 5-minute video, well, you make a 5-minute video. If you have a video that requires you to make a 3-hour video, you make a 3-hour video. Uh, I've seen a lot of comments about the algorithm. Some people seem to think that the algorithm helps shorter videos, like will promote shorter video more. There's people at some point who were saying that the algorithm would promotes longer video. Honestly, I can't really tell a difference between. So I have short videos that do really well. I have long videos that do really well. So I couldn't tell you one way or the other. But what I would say is that make the video as long as it needs to be or as short as it needs to be. Another thing that some people had suggested was to have an introduction and something at the end, a little clip to end the video. I had tried to have an introduction way back when I started making videos, and one thing I quickly noticed is that people would as soon as the as soon as the introduction would start, about halfway through the introduction, I would lose half the audience. So I stopped using an introduction for a while because it basically it was pretty much it was pretty conclusive. Halfway through the introduction, half the audience would leave. So I stopped having an introduction for a while. But then someone mentioned that maybe I could have one. So I tried to have one that's short enough that people can get through it quickly enough. Because I can understand. I see sometimes people on YouTube, they'll make like a 1 minute video and they'll have a minute and a half introduction. It makes no sense. The introduction for some videos is sometimes longer than the video itself. So I try to keep my introduction short in order to avoid that. So that way, even if I have just a video that lasts 2 minutes, the introduction lasts 10 seconds maybe. So it's not too big of a deal. And the end video, the end part of the video, at the end of the video, there's these cards that appear that show you either other videos or other channels that I have. So I try to leave maybe 20 seconds at the end of the video, and usually what I use is I'll use my little clip with the Black Lantern Superman. But once in a while, I'll make a little extra bonus feature if it makes sense. So sometimes some of you guys who watch the video until the end, sometimes you have a little extra feature at the end of the video just for you guys. It's not something I do with every video because again, it comes back to making the video as long as it needs to be. If I have a fun little extra that I think I can add at the end of the video, I'll do that. But if I don't have one, I won't try to force it. I'll just use my Black Lantern Superman video. So sometimes you'll see Black Lantern Superman. Sometimes you'll see a little fun extra that I'll make just for that video. It's a case by case basis. And also, I guess if there's one thing I would suggest to people is don't use other people's work. It may seem self-evident, but very often I'll see people who will use clips from movies, will use clips from other YouTube videos, and then those videos will get copyright claimed, and they'll be surprised by that. I understand that sometimes it can be frustrating. Like you may have noticed, I mostly make videos about this universe online for two reasons. The first reason is that this is pretty much the one game that I enjoy playing to that as much as I do. So it's the one game that I enjoy playing so much that I can make videos about this game every day and still like it. There's other games that I could probably make videos about, but sadly the problem is that as soon as I tried with certain games, I would get some sort of a copyright claim. The best example I can think of is lately I tried to make videos about this pretty cool game called Dragon's Dogma. Sadly, Capcom is notorious for claiming any videos that even mention their games. I had seen Angry Joe mention that, and sadly, I have to agree. As soon as I made a video about a Capcom game, it was claimed, and so I removed that video and I decided not to make videos about Dragon's Dogma in the end, which is what makes it a bit challenging. Like, yeah, it probably would be a good idea if I made videos about other games in this universe online, and sometimes some of you guys will request that. The problem is finding a game that I can make video about that will not be copyright claimed, and also that I will enjoy playing well enough that I won't mind playing it a lot and making videos about it. So I just didn't find the game for that. There's a couple of games that are coming up. There's Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, and Icewind Dale, and I think Planescape Torment also that are coming up on PlayStation 4. So I might try to make videos about those. Although those are pretty old game. It would probably only interest old school role playing game players. And odds are pretty much any old school role playing game players already played those games, so I wouldn't expect people to want to watch the videos. But once I think it's September 24th that Baldur's Gate will be released on PlayStation 4, so I might give it a try when it does. We'll see. But sometimes, sadly, I would say use your own content, use your own footage that you shot yourself to make sure that someone else doesn't claim your video. The same with the audio. Even I'm using, sometimes you'll see the music I use. I'm using music, free music from YouTube. There's a little section in YouTube where you can go grab some free music to use in your videos. Even then, you have to be careful. I remember there was this video a few years ago that I had used some quote unquote free music from YouTube, and still I got a not a copyright claim, but I couldn't monetize the video because of that audio track. Even though it was supposed to be free, even though it was supposed to be I was supposed to be able to use it in my video. So basically, in order to be able to use an audio track, you pretty much have to try it out. Even if YouTube says it's free, and even if YouTube says that you're allowed to use it, sadly once you try to use it, it may not be that self-evident. So again, I strongly suggest use your own material. Don't use other people's material, otherwise you may have surprises that you won't enjoy. I guess another thing I would mention is that be careful what you use in your videos. For example, I make videos about this universe online, and I can guarantee you that whenever I use a Marvel character, there's Marvel fans that aren't happy that I did that, and there's DC fans that aren't happy that I did that. You even saw a few comments some time ago about people would complain that I used Marvel characters in a DC game, and sadly I don't have to agree with them, but I have to. If I had to start over again, if I had to go back and tell my younger self when I started making videos, the first thing I would tell him is don't make videos about the Wolverine. To me, it was a good idea to use Wolverine. I thought that, holy crap, we're going to be able to get the Batman Wolverine team up we always dreamed of seeing, and it pretty much was a mistake. Eons ago, I should have made a Batman character or a Superman character. I should have made a DC character as opposed to using what I thought was a good idea. I thought it would be cool to get some team up with Batman and Superman. Sadly, a lot of the audience didn't agree with that, and that probably slowed the progression of my channel a bit. And also, there's some people who are saying that some people sometimes think that I work for DC Universe Online. That I don't work for them. I don't even get any support from them. I think there's maybe twice that some of my videos were featured on their website. But as a general rule, I don't get any support from this universe online, and I don't work for this universe online. And there's people who seem to suggest that one of the reasons why I don't get any support from this universe online is because I use Marvel characters. So if you want to make videos about a specific brand, I would strongly suggest stick to that brand. So if someday Marvel releases a Marvel Universe Online game, and you start making videos about that, I would strongly suggest keep on making Marvel characters for that game. Don't start making a Superman in a Marvel game. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot pretty much at the start. At this point, it doesn't really matter for me. I know that I won't get support from this universe online, which is fine. They don't have to support me. Uh, so once in a while, but I'll try to keep it to a once in a while occasion. I know some of you guys asked me if I could make a Thanos video. Some of you guys asked for an Avengers Endgame video. It's on the list. I just didn't get the chance to get around to making those videos just yet. But I'm trying to focus more on DC characters, and I'm trying to keep Marvel characters or characters from any other brand as a only once in a while occasion, because I know because there's two things that happens. Let's say I make a Wolverine video and I make a Batman video. Uh, let's say Wolverine gets 500 views and Batman also gets 500 views. Sadly, for the Wolverine videos, after 30 seconds, that 500 views will drop to 250 views. And after 5 minutes, it will drop to about 100 views. And I'll be lucky if I end the videos with 50 views or even 25 views. As opposed to if I make Batman videos, it'll start at 500 views. I may lose five people after 5 minutes. May go down to, let's say, 495 views, but I will pretty much stick to that throughout most of the video. And at the end of the video, I'll have maybe 490 90 views or something like that. The best example of that I can think of is the Black Lantern Batman character that I made eons ago. Uh, it was pretty freaky how much by the end of the video I still had almost 100% of people still watching the video, as opposed to if I would watch let's say one of my Wolverine video. Again, within 30 seconds, I would lose half the audience, and by the end of the video, I had maybe 10% of the audience that was still watching the video. So those are the two reasons why I would strongly suggest if you make a video about, let's say, a Marvel game, focus on Marvel characters. Don't try to have DC characters in a Marvel game. And with DC Universe Online, I would strongly suggest if you start making videos about DC Universe Online, yeah, it could be fun to have Spider-Man in the DC universe. It could be fun to have Spawn. It could be fun to have other characters and DC characters. Sadly, the audience doesn't seem to think as much. And I guess one last thing I could mention is if you want to be a YouTuber and if you want to be able to last years and years and years, have fun. You have to have fun. If you don't enjoy making the videos you're making, you're going to quit after a month, a year, 6 months. Sadly, in order to be able, if you want to be a YouTuber, you have to play the long game, and you have to enjoy yourself. If you enjoy yourself, it won't be difficult making one video a day, two video a day, three video a day if you can. Uh, but if you don't enjoy yourself, if you have to kick yourself in the butt whenever you need to make a new video, it won't happen. You won't last very long. Especially considering that if you're making videos hoping that your video will go viral, it doesn't work like that. It's sad, but that's how it is. And I've seen quite a few people who did that. I've seen people who made awesome videos. I've seen people who made videos. You guys know Superpower Beatdown, who makes awesome videos. I've seen people who make videos of that quality or even better quality, thinking that their video would be awesome, the quality of their video was so good that they would get 1 million subscribers in no time, and they would get the 10 million subscribers, and they'd be rolling in money. Doesn't work like that. They released their video, they were lucky to get 300 subscribers. My video costs nothing to make, and they're very. I can make 2, 3, 5 videos. If that's all I do, I could make 10 videos a day. Sadly, they spent I think $15,000 to make their video. They made their video. They spent weeks and weeks and months to produce their video, and then they released it, and they didn't get the success that we're hoping for. It's sad, but it happens. People seems to think that if they make a video, uh, they'll put it on YouTube. If it's good quality, people will subscribe. They'll get 1 million subscribers, and they'll be set for life. It doesn't work like that. You have to build your audience. You have to build your audience slowly but surely, and you have to build your audience by posting regularly. If you post only one video, no one will know about you unless it's unless you're lucky and somehow your video goes viral. You'll see that with some channels. You'll see some channels that'll struggle for years and years and years, and then one day something happens. Someone more famous than them draw attention to their channel, and then they explode, and then they gain a whole bunch of subscribers. So maybe that could happen, but also you have to keep in mind how much work it takes you to make videos. Like, in order to be able to build your audience, you have to produce content regularly. At the very least, you have to produce one new video a week. Ideally, one new video a day, or even better, if you can produce 3 videos a day, day after day after day, that is how you build your audience. So if it takes you 6 months to produce one video, it's going to be very difficult for you to build your audience. Yes, there are some people who were able to do that. How it should have ended is probably a good example of that. They make one video every, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. I lost track. So they only make one video once in a while, but they were able to build a pretty big audience. So that makes up for them not producing video every day. But there are other channels like me who can produce 1, 2, 3 video a day after day after day. And also, something else that some people sometimes will tell me is that they're worried about running out of ideas. They're worried about not knowing what video to make next. Again, I would say don't worry about that, because one thing that's wonderful with the comments is that people will ask you for new videos. So if somehow at some point you run out of ideas, you go like, oh, I don't know what video to make, I don't know what I should do. There's someone in the comment section who will tell you, can you make a Superman video? Can you make a cyborg Superman video? Can you make a video of how to make a Batman Beyond? So people will suggest videos in the comment section, and it will feed you to make more videos. So sometimes some of the suggestions that people give you will inspire also other videos. Like let's say someone suggests, can you make a Batman Beyond video? Well, that could make inspire me then to make a video about a whole bunch of future Batman, and then that could inspire me to make a video about a whole bunch of Elseworlds Batman, and then it could inspire me to make a video about a whole bunch of Batman from across the multiverse. So sometimes not only will you get suggestions from your audience, but those suggestions could snowball into more videos, into more ideas for videos. Uh, if I would say that the one thing I would say right now is not there's no having ideas for new videos. That's not the problem. The problem would be the opposite. There's so many videos that I could make right now, and there's only so many videos I can make in a day. Sometimes I will try to make more than one video a day. Although yesterday I did that. I made a whole bunch of videos about some of the auras we got from the Dark Knight's time capsules, and some people were thinking that I was spamming somehow, or so again, it comes down to being patient. Sometimes people will say, well, let's say not so good comments, and sometimes you have to scratch your head. Like, really, I post 3 videos and somehow I'm spamming. Okay. Oh, we have a new follower, it seems. So again, make sure that you can produce content regularly. Again, if it takes you 6 months to create content, it's going to be difficult to build your audience. If it takes you a week, then you can release, let's say, one video a week. It will help you because whenever you post a new video, it brings a whole new audience to that will watch that video, and then some of them will even go watch your previous videos, and so it will snowball a bit from there. If you again, if you produce content only once every 6 months, it's going to be difficult to create any momentum. If you create one video a week, it's the minimum I would say that you should be able to make. But if you can find a formula, I guess it's not really the word I want to use, but it's all I can think of. If you can find a formula that allows you to make at least one video a day, that would be the best option. And if you can find a formula that allows you to make 3 videos a day, even better. This video ended up being a bit longer than I expected, so I hope some of those pointers will help you out. If you guys are future YouTubers or are aspiring YouTubers or YouTubers that just started and are struggling a bit, hopefully some of those ideas will help you or some of those tips will help you. I probably should make a more structured, better thought out video, maybe someday. Because it is a question that often comes back, especially how to make YouTube videos. So I should probably make maybe I should make a whole series about that. I'll have to give it some thoughts. So again, guys, I would like to say thank you for those. It's been 4 wonderful years, and you guys are awesome. One thing I can say is that I have a great audience. I complained a bit about the people begging for stuff, but that's a very very minor nitpick. Overall, the comments that I get from you guys are awesome. You guys have some great questions very often. You guys have some great suggestions very often. When you make suggestions for videos, I'm sure some of you guys noticed by now. Yeah, I don't make all the suggestions. Sadly, there's only so many videos I can make in a day. And also, I have to remind you, making videos is not my job. So usually I'll make video after after a long day at work, after working hard. That's when I make videos. And again, if I can make 2 or 3 videos like I did yesterday, I'll try to do that. But usually, I usually have time for maybe one video, and sometimes you'll see there's even some weeks where I make maybe 2 or 3 video during the week. It's sad, but it happens. But it's been a wonderful 4 years making video for you guys. Uh, Also interacting with you guys, replying to your comments, you guys replying to my comments, the exchange that we have, the relationship that we have, that's awesome. And for that, I'm very grateful. And I have to say thank you guys for those 4 wonderful years. It was a lot of fun. I wouldn't again. I made think I passed 1800 videos not too long ago. I made over 1800 videos. I wouldn't have made that if it wasn't fun. And I wouldn't be replying to all your comments if I didn't enjoy it. And it's all thanks to you. And also, right now we have like 6,766 subscribers, and that's all you guys. It's if it wasn't for you guys, there would be no subscribers, there would be no views, there would be nothing. So I'm very grateful for that. And again, I have to say thank you guys. So sorry for the uber long video. Next time I'll try to make it something more. You may notice I don't script my videos. I don't write a script, and I don't follow a script. I usually do it on the fly. There's a few reasons for that. But so sometimes I may ramble a bit. I think some of you guys enjoy that. Some of you sometimes don't, but you can't please everyone, I suppose. If I ramble too much for your taste, you can always skip some of my rambling. If you do enjoy the ramble, I'm very happy you do, and I guess I'll try to ramble some more. So enough stalling. I guess this is the end of the video. As always, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask so in the comment section down below. I try to answer every questions, but sadly, I don't always manage to. The way the comments works on YouTube, it's very easy to miss a question, and I don't always get notices about people putting comments. So it's very easy to miss out a comment. So if you put in a question and somehow I don't answer, try again a few days after a few days. Try again to ask the same question, and if you're lucky, I'll see it this time and I'll answer it. So I try to answer every question that I can, every comment that I can. But sadly, the way YouTube works, it's not always possible. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.